Hello, CK YouTube. As you may notice, I am not Kenji. Kenji is out for a little bit, but he'll be back. In the meantime, I'm here to, try to fill in a little bit for him. I'm Chris Cornejo. I'm the producer for Card Kingdom's YouTube content. You might hear my voice on a bunch of videos we do. I'm the one who helps put these Kenji videos up on YouTube after he sends them to us. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to fill in for a little bit here while I can. I'm nowhere near as good a drafter as Kenji, so this mostly might be a bunch of people laughing at me, but we'll find out. In the meantime, let's see what we got here. We have Gumdrop Fissioner is indeed pretty good. And I like black in this format, so that might just be the way we go. Spellstorm Coven is... I like it a lot. I've had a bunch of success with it in other drafts, but I think we're just going to go... So As Foretold is funny. We can actually do a lot of funny things with As Foretold. Is it worth it in a draft to go with the silly? You know what? We're going to go silly. As Foretold. Let's try to go Spellslinger a little bit here. Okay, what do we got? This leans us towards like red-blue Spellslinger. Although a lot of the adventure cards are going to be very good for us too. Into the Fey Court is always fun. Galvanic Giant is very good. Maybe Bellowing Bruiser I certainly don't mind, although that first adventure side is kind of situational. Edgewall Pack isn't bad. Prowler isn't the worst. This over here. What do I want to take? I think I'm leaning towards the Giant. Just stick with that for now. Compulsion, meh. Not really big on that. Towing Stopgap is the non-land permanent to its hand, and then if it was bargain, it costs less. That one's certainly not bad. The Daredevil is fine. I like it better in the Rats deck, the red-black one. Hopeless Nightmare ain't bad, but not really here. Yeah, I think it's just going to be the Stopgap here. Definitely leaning very heavy blue right now, but I'm pretty okay with that. Repercussion. What do you do? Whenever a creature's dealt damage, deals that much damage to its creature's controller. Silly. I'm probably not taking it because it scares me. I am fully fine admitting that. Ice Out can be fine. Skewer Stinger. Yeah, I think Ice Out here. Up the Beanstalk is obviously a killer card for Constructed. I don't know how much we're going to find use for it here, so we'll just go with Ice Out. Twisted Fealty is the threaten for this format. It's pretty good. Another Ice Out. Candid Heroism is good. I should probably end up taking some creatures at some point. None of these are really leaping out to me, though. I kind of like taking the Twisted Fealty. Those kind of spells can really wreck people's plans. So we're going to go with that. Freeze in Place jumps out to me immediately. Ratcatcher Trainee is fantastic, or at least has been for me. Bellowing Bruiser still meh. Three Bowls of Porridge is fun. I don't know how good it is here. Neva is good, but not in our colors. And I am not a good enough drafter to pivot quite this early. So it's either Freeze in Place or the Trainee. I think I need to start taking at least a creature or two. Impact Tremors can be very good for us. Especially if we have like a rat sub-theme. Impact Tremors can get us where we need to go. Balloonia's Gatekeeper is also fantastic, however, and I think I'm more likely to want that. The Thief isn't bad, but yeah, I think we're going to go here with the Gatekeeper. Another Gatekeeper. I'm certainly fine with multiple of Gatekeepers. They, keep us going early with that bounce effect, and then they are just big old beaters late, which is perfectly fine by me. This is pretty good. I do like Ice Rot Sentry, but I think I'm going to stick with the Gatekeeper. I like having the adventure cards with the spell effect to go along with As Foretold as early as I can. Ice Out's fine. Yeah, I like Ice Out again. Just be that annoying deck that plays counters and limited. Always fine with that. We have another Bellowing Bruiser, the Harried Speared Guard. I don't mind Harry's Speared Guard. I think if we're going to go with As Foretold, I do like some of these spells that pay off when you cast the big things, though. So the entire point of playing As Foretold is you can just play huge spells each turn and then keep a bunch of little spells in your hand and just play 2 or more spells a turn when you shouldn't be able to. We still got Compulsion, which is very meh. It's not the worst, and I don't really see myself playing any of these other things in this deck, so we'll take it for now, but I'm probably going to end up cutting it. Sure. I'll take a Slinger. The Kindled Heroism might just be worth it here. Yeah, I'll take it. Nope, should have taken the Slinger. Oh well. We'll take that and throw it in our sideboard. What do we got here? The Sugar Maw, the Callous Sellsword. Callous Sellsword isn't terrible. Imidane's Recruiter. Like, if we're going to splash, I like splashing these off-color adventure cards, just because you can still get some use out of them, even if you don't have the off-color that you need to cast the other half of it. Raid Bombardment is fine. Impact Tremors plus Raid Bombardment means I kind of wanted to have tried to force the Rat deck, but I didn't really see a ton of stuff for it in the other packs, so I'm fine with what we did. I'm just saying Raid Bombardment plus Impact Tremors is the nuts for these kind of Enchanting Tales cards for the Rat deck. Grandbald Guest can do some work, but I think it works better in that Rat deck I was just talking about. I think... so I can get a 1-mana Fling, or this thing. I think I like Imidane's Recruiter better. As Foretold lets us splash things a lot easier than normal as well. What do we got? We got Hatching Plains, Picklock Prankster. What do you do again? Mill 4. That's fine. Tattered Ratter isn't bad if we have a rat sub-theme going on. Water Wings isn't terrible. Elvish Archivist, what do you do again? Oh, you're that one. That's fine, but not for what we have going on. I think I kind of like just taking the Tattered Ratter here and going for it. See if I can pick up a little rat sub-theme here, like Imidane's Recruiter fits perfectly in that rat sub-theme. The Cruel Somnophage is good. It's not fantastic unless you get multiples of them. There's enough removal floating around that cards like this to me aren't a super slam dunk. They can be good. Balluna's Gatekeeper is good. I think I'm going to go with the Recruiter here. We'll have a light white splash if we can. Ratter's still good. There's another Gatekeeper. This pack's got a bunch of stuff for us. Witch's Mark isn't bad either. We already have one Tattered Ratter. Do I want another Freeze in Place? Do I want a Grand Ball Guest? 1+1 and has Trample. I almost think I just want a third Gatekeeper here. I will be that annoying man if I can be. That guy's fine. Certainly not bad. I could pick up an Evolving Wilds just to have a white source more readily available for those recruiters. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get that pick done early. So that way if we need to splash, we know we have a couple of ways to do it now. Hearth Elemental's pretty great. Monstrous Rage is a fantastic combat trick. Non-Crescendo certainly isn't bad. I would want a little bit of a more go-wide deck than I currently have to really take advantage of it. I'm really leaning towards Hearth Elemental here. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the Elemental pretty easily. Gonna cut one Kindled Heroism for now. Might cut the Compulsion too, just because I'm not terribly excited about playing it. If I really need the card draw at the end of this, then Compulsion could see some play. Ooh, a lot of good options here. Mana Flare's fine. I am hesitant to play these symmetrical effects in limited when I can't guarantee my deck is the one that's going to take better advantage of it. I'm probably just taking the Grabby Giant here because it's pretty good, especially compared to the other cards in here. Grabby Giant it is. What do we got? Oppression is funny, but not for here. Corvald the Noble Thief is one of those cards that always reads underwhelming to me, but plays a lot better than it reads. But I do like me an Aquatic Alchemist. I think I'm going to take the Alchemist here. There's that Raid Bombardment again, which could be good, but I don't think our deck's quite the one to take care of it. We got a lot of top-end creatures that we're using their adventure sides here. We'll just take a Grand Ball Guest for now. Merry Bards I don't have a problem with. Water Wings could be good. I think I'm going to start with Merry Bards. So I might pick up a Water Wings later. You know what? I'm fine. Surely they'll think to themselves, he doesn't have the 4th Balloonist Gatekeeper. Sure. Let's do Witch's Mark here. Get some of that incidental card draw. I think we cut the Crescendo for now. Sure. So this is 16 lands at the moment. Yeah, this all isn't bad. Spellbook Vendor is fantastic. I do like that card, and we already are splashing white, so I'm tempted already. Is there anything else? I should take some removal. So it's between Spellbook Vendor, Frantic Firebolt, Quick Study. There is definitely a thought to flick a coin or Obeah's Attendants. I think I really just want the Firebolt for now, though. Just to have some actual hard removal in the deck. Song of Totentans is pretty silly. I need to reread Johan to remember what he does. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Once each turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery from the top of our library. That is also pretty okay. 2/5 otherwise is fine. What else do we got? Nine Crescendo, Living Lectern. So yeah, it's really between Song of Totentans, and I think it's just got to be the Song of Totentans. It's essentially Creature Fireball. Another Merry Bards. Not a ton here that I super want. Intangible Virtue can be funny, but I don't think it's worth the splash on its own, like just for Totentans. We would have to have a little... I'll take it for now, just because I didn't see anything else that really set my heart on fire or anything, but I don't know if we're going to end up going quite that deep. What do we want? I do like Aquatic Alchemist just buying back some of these counters or removal or anything I have. Yeah, I think we do that. So what do we cut for now? I think we cut one Grand Ball Guest. We don't need two. The Skewer Slinger is fine since it blocks flyers, but it's certainly the least impressive thing we got going on here. We could do Witch's Mark again. Living Lectern can buy us back an instant or sorcery, but it's kind of meh otherwise. I don't know. I don't see a ton here that I'm really interested in. And the white cards are okay. Like Kellen's Light Blades is fine, but I'm not splashing for it. We'll just take the Whatnot and put it in the sideboard. The big question so far is going to be, do I bother splashing this Intangible Virtue? Only because I have that Ratcatcher Trainee and then the two Imidane's Recruiters, which can be pretty nuts. I'm not making a ton of other tokens, though, and I don't think that's worth a whole slot, so we'll get rid of it for now. Another Impact Tremors, still tempting. Spell Stutter can be fun, but I think Quick Study is going to be the winner here. What do we got? Cursed Courtier. Dare I? Dare I? Yeah, I think I do. Somebody is going to try to play some 2 or 3 mana rare, and boy, is it going to be funny when they never actually get to. Unruly Catapult works well if I'm casting a bunch of instant sorceries. I don't think I ended up in too heavy a Spellslinger deck, but that's something to think about. The Boundary Lands Ranger isn't bad. Multiple combat steps is also quite funny. I think I'm most likely to end up playing the Catapult. I actually think I want the Ranger here. We're going to go Ranger. Just get some filtering out if the game goes long. It is never a terrible thing. I'll take another quick study, but I doubt I end up playing 2. Yeah, I don't think we're going to end up keeping a lot of these picks at this point. Sure. Don't need another Kindled Heroism. Sideboard, and there we go. Wow, it's not the land. All right, now we just got to cut things down a little bit. So a deck like this, with As Foretold, even though I got a lot of ostensibly top end here, I am willing to play 16 lands and just be that guy for this, because these are actually a bunch of 2-mana spells. Even the Hearth Elemental, like, you really want to be playing the adventure side once your hand is empty. But there's a decent chance that the creature side ends up being way less than 6 mana. And stuff like Balloonist Gatekeeper with the entry denied side of it helps me make up for the fact that I would be an idiot playing 16 lands to get to the point where I can actually cast that on 6. So I'm mostly fine with that. All right, let's figure out what our cuts are. We need to cut a few creatures. Don't need quite this much stuff. The Storm-Killed Prowler can end up being pretty good. We have a bunch of top end that will end up triggering it. The Grand Ball Guest is probably the weakest. We do have a bunch of, like, the Ratcatcher Trainee, the Imidane's Recruiter, that can on their own trigger the Grand Ball Guest, but I'm not sure the payoff is there as much as it could be. The Tattered Ratter, I only have 1 card that works with it, so that's probably a pretty easy cut. I don't want to cut any more 2-drops, though, because we do want to have them, although you have to remember that the Balloonist Gatekeepers are actually 2-drop spells, so we have plenty to do on turn 2. That part I'm not worried about. Do I want 2 quick studies? I probably should. What else do we have? We have Witch's Mark, which is fine. I do like the Witch Roll. We have the 2 quick studies already. We have Balloonist Gatekeepers. I'm fine cutting a Witch's Mark for now. That might be a mistake, but we'll find out. In the meantime, we need 2 more cuts. Twisted Fealty is just fun. And can really, like, threaten effects are always slightly overperforming in the situations where you're at parity. If you're behind, they're usually terrible unless you have a sacrifice outlet or some other way to get rid of the creature you're stealing. So I might cut the Twisted Fealty here. Maybe. Merry Bards, Heroic Roll Token. 3 mana, 3/2. It's 4 mana to get the real good stuff out of it. Maybe. The Recruiters I like. As Foretold, I obviously like. I'm kind of halfway building the deck around it. Yeah, we'll cut the Fealty. That is acceptable. And I think we're good. All right, we are here for round 1. They are on the play. And I have 1 land, so we're definitely going to mulligan that. 2 lands. Double blue, not looking great, but I don't want to go to 5 because I am a coward. We'll ditch the Song of Totentans for now, since it's not going to be any use to us anytime soon. A cheeky house mouse. All right. Well, there's third land, which isn't terrible. We can at least get to As Foretold eventually. Okay. Ouch. White, black. Unassuming Sage. Hey, got there. Still nothing to do yet, though. We can get the As Foretold online next turn. We can play Midin's Recruiter as a blocker if we really end up needing to. Obviously, the hope is we can last a little longer before then. We are taking 4 down to 14 here, so we do need to draw something pretty soon. Land is not exactly what we're hoping for. Yeah, gonna take another 4 here. Can just play the Galvanic Giant this next turn. I think that's perfectly fine. Another mountain is good for us. Let's get that giant out here. See what kind of removal they have waiting for us. Wonderfully, if it's Pump Spell, we are able to cast Kindled Heroism already off the As Foretold. There we go. There's that cooped up. And going straight for it. At least they don't have anything better to cast. Alright, if we don't draw anything else, I'm probably going to have to play the Recruiter out here. Yeah, let's just get a couple of creatures going here. So, we'll cast you for free. We'll cast you not for free. And see if we can stop some of the bleeding. Princess takes flight. Exile up to 1 target creature. Alright, so they're going to bounce something. They probably have that one creature where it enters the battlefield, you bounce something back to its owner's hand. Something that you control, which makes Princess take flight a pretty good removal spell on its own, or they just have all the removal, and I'm going to die anyway. All right. What do we got? Well, that's funny. We can definitely do something with that. We are going to cast Entry Denied on... let's see. We're going to cast it on the Sage. And then we're going to cast this right away. And we'll see if that's enough to keep us alive. Knew I drafted 4+ of those for a reason. Oh, right, flying. Forgot that part. You'd think a giant might have a reach, but oh well. So they get game 1 off of a slightly sketchy keep on my part. Alright, we're in game 2, didn't sideboard anything. Not much we needed to change, I think. Just need to get a better opening hand, perhaps. There are better decisions about opening hands. will be on the play. We have 2 lands, we have the As Foretold, we have a way to bounce a creature early, we have an Aquatic Alchemist, so we have stuff to do with this hand, and it leads us to good places. Even if it's only a 2 land, I'm okay keeping this. Start out with our island. Ooh, they got a fun one. Not going to play out the Aquatic Alchemist yet. Hopeful Vigil. Not terrible, but we can at least immediately bounce that thing. It's a sorcery, though, so we will have to wait a moment on that. No third land is a bit of a problem. But if they don't have anything to do on turn 3 either, that's not terrible for us. There's lane number 3. We can fire off the As Foretold. We can wait and try to do some quick studying and then buy it back with Aquatic Alchemist. But I think I'd rather do all that shenanigans with an As Foretold already active. Next turn, if we draw a land, we can Galvanic Giant if we really need to, and then we'll have Kindled Heroism up with the As Foretold. They are just scrying on my... yes, my turn still. For a moment, I thought I'd already passed the turn all the way to them and they were scrying in their turn, in which case that would have been fantastic for us. But they're going to have something here. Grave Pact. That's fun. I'm okay playing Prison Rules. Let's do this. Always yield. There's island number 4. I'm not in a terrible hurry here if they aren't. I can just sit back and like quick study, buy it back, play a creature, do all that sort of thing this next turn, so ball is in your court, dude. Spiteful Hexmage. Alright. I have a feeling that's not going to stay cursed for too long. End step. Glad I drew past those. Alright. We can start to do some silly things here very soon. For now, I think I'm just going to cast Bubble Up, target the quick study. And then I'm going to cast that Aquatic Alchemist with As Foretold. And then I will get this Stormkeld Prowler out. And we're starting to do some things. Okay. As Foretold is such a silly card. I know Bubble Up didn't really do much here. So it's, oh wait, no, that's that thing. Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's on top of my library now? That's what Bubble Up did? Yeah, so next draw is a quick study, which we can cast for free off As Foretold. What are they planning on doing? What removal do you have? Who do you want to kill? Heartflame Slash, that'll do it. Yeah, not a lot I can do there. You don't buff toughness. Alright, they're just going for it with the Heartless Fortress. So if I block here, I'm going to have to give up the Aquatic Alchemist. which I'm pretty okay with, because I'm fine just taking out their dude, especially like taking a land off the board for them. Seems like a decent trade for me. The way we do that is we block, we say okay, and then we cast Kindled Heroism off the As Foretold, targeting them. He gets bluff plus, since we cast Instant or Sorcery, Kindled Heroism is going to give him first strike and +1/+0, which will give him enough to do that. We're going to keep you on top. Grave Pack's going to kill the Alchemist, which I'm fine with. I'm fine taking him down a land. That seems like a decent enough trade to me. Yeah, we're just going to quick study real quick for free. I'm good with all of this. Let's cast our thing. We would like a way to get rid of the Grave Pact eventually, although I don't know if we have one. Plan for the moment is just cast Quick Study in their turn somewhere. Prophetic Prism. Very good card for their 3-color deck. What do you got? You got 3 mana. You have a Grave Pact, so I can't really block you profitably right now. You can't really swing since I got a huge dude on board. They got 4 cards in hand. They got options. What do you got? Anything? There we go. A green card. Interesting. They're buying back the land. All right. So that's sitting on top of their library. And then they just play the Woodland Acolyte, which draws a card. So they're going to draw that right off the top. Neat little sequence. Do you swing now? Almost no reason not to swing now. But let's cast this. I'm very good with that. Song of Totentans is fantastic because that lets us start actually killing their things. So that's what we're going to cast right now. For what, 5, 6? Done. So we do that, and then we can start actually taking out their things, since As Foretold lets us cast that for free. Grave Pact, we have to give up a rat, which is fine. Everybody in. Trade off a rat. Grave Pact makes us get rid of another rat, but they're down to 12. We're looking pretty good. We can Grabby Giant to make it. We can. That's mine. Sorry, not Grabby Giant. The adventure side of Grabby Giant in their turn with As Foretold to make a treasure. Figured that was coming at some point. Tap target creature in Vocals and put a stun counter on it. You did the wrong thing. All right, so what do they got? They got their land out. They got the Heartflame Duelist. Instant and sorcery spells they cast have lifelink. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. Now let's make a treasure token. And see where we go. right, so do that. I'm fine casting that storm reading now. Yeah, why not? Oh, we can attack first, sure. Attack with the rats, see if they block. No blocks. We are going to cast Storm Reading. Draw 4, discard 2. We can dump a land. And... ooh, all of these are actually pretty good. I want to keep the Alchemist for sure. The Gatekeeper can be pretty funny here, but not the most. Actually, yeah, I think we discard the Gatekeeper. The bouncing is fun, but it's not like the most necessary. And from here we have 5 counters, so we can do a decent amount. Sure. I'm just going to cast, yeah, train troops. Let's get a couple of 2/2 vigilance guys out there. Next turn we can bubble up either the removal spell or another quick study. This was the plan for the deck. This is exactly the sort of thing we want to have happen. As foretold, getting up their encounters and us just casting a bunch of stuff each turn. We are fighting our way admirably through an active Grave Pact. I think we're doing okay. Next turn we can cast... how many lands do I have at 1, 2, plus 6? We can cast the Galvanic Giant and the Grabby Giant, and then, as foretold, the Imidane's Recruiter to give them +1/+0 and everything haste. I'm pretty sure we just win next turn unless they do something pretty impressive here. Sure. What do they return to their hand that they control? Cooped up? Oh, the Prism. They're just going to draw another card. Okay, that's fine. So they get to scry 2 here and then recast the Prism to draw whatever it is they leave on top, if they leave something on top. Let's see. 1 top, 1 bottom, recast the Prism, draw whatever card they left on top. 3 mana left to do something. Maybe some kind of removal. I wouldn't be shocked if it's enchantment removal for the As Foretold. Back for seconds. They're just buying back a couple of things, and they bargained away the Prism. So one of those is going to come back to the battlefield. Woodland Acolyte draws them a card. Pretty good. All right, that wasn't bad. We're still well in the driver's seat here. Especially as they are tapped out. Cast Galvanic Giant. Cast Grabby Giant. Cast you with As Foretold. Yep. And let's go to town. So they block here. They block the 2 big ones, plus any of the 3 powered things. They end up taking 3, 6, 9. Yeah, I don't see a way out. All right, game 3. All right, we are back for game 3 here. And this looks like a perfectly acceptable opening 7. Got 3 lands. We got our bounce spell here on 2. We got an ice out waiting, although we don't have the right mana for it, which is a bit of a problem. But if we draw another island, we're gravy there. Yeah, like, it's not a perfect 7, but it's certainly keepable in our deck. The big problem we're going to have is just, can we survive the first 4 turns without being too far behind? And as long as we can do that, we're going to be set up pretty well. Minstrosity is fine. Are you an instant? You're a sorcery. All right. We're just going to fire that off right away. Hey, there's that second island. Perfect. Bounce that. Pass the turn. They likely recast it, and we just hold up ice out until we can start casting some of the other big stuff. All right. As we draw something fantastic here, I think we do just hold up ice out for another turn. Yeah. Don't need to throw out the recruiters as blocker quite yet. And we can just, if they don't add anything to the board, we can Johann Stopgap next turn. Make them cast that same monstrosity 3 or 4 times in a single game is probably pretty aggravating. Okay, we want them to try to cast something here. Is that not? Yeah, I mean, might as well. They get a decent amount of value out of that, so I'm fine with using a counterspell on that. There's the As Foretold. We could go on Stopgap. I think getting the As Foretold online is the most important thing for us in this deck, because as we saw last game, once it actually gets moving, it's pretty undeniable. Down to 14, see what they had to the board here. Oh, they're training troops now. That's bad. Okay. Yield. So we're at 5 mana. We can cast a Hearth Elemental now. Since we got the 1 instant in the graveyard, we can Johann Stopgap away one of the creatures. We just play Recruiter and then use Kindled Heroism to block next turn. We got options is the point, and I think I like just getting a big old beater out here. So let's do that. If they have some ridiculous pump spell, we can always Kindled Heroism. They don't have the red mana to cast the Recruiter yet on its own. And that held the line just fine, so excellent there. There's our song, which isn't bad. I think I'm just going to cast this for now, though. Get rid of one of their creatures entirely and draw a card. That's certainly not terrible, and I'm fine just using our As Foretold on that for the moment. All right. Like I said, we lasted past turn 4 and we stabilized. We have our As Foretold going. They only have 2 cards in hand. We aren't looking bad. Another Gatekeeper here is pretty silly. I'm kind of tempted to just Song of Totentans now, or I can bounce the Night Token and start swinging in myself. Yeah, let's see. I can bounce the Night Token, swing in, and then cast Grabby Giant. Try to just push my advantage here. Let's do that. Yeah. Cast this using entry demand on there. Nope, nope, cancel. Cast you on, as foretold. Right there. There we go. And then we swing. I suppose I can just cast one of the big ones, can't I? I have that treasure token there, and they don't have a ton left to bargain with. So yeah, let's just do that. Alright. We have Kindled Heroism open to us. If they draw the Grave Pact, we can always Song of Totentans. Cooped Up is fine. They get a free swing and take us down to 11 if they really want. Nothing else? Alright. I figured they'd have something to do with the 5 mana there. That's pretty funny, too. I mean, yeah, that's funny enough that I think that's what I'm going to do. But we just cast it, right? Yeah. Do that. Bounce you. Cast you off as foretold. Getting to cast your spells for free, it turns out, is pretty good. Oh, I just clicked past my combat step. Oh well. That was my bad. We'll see how much it costs us. This is what you get for not playing Magic Online enough to be super used to the interface. Okay, I'm not too worried about having those 2 creatures out because he can block pretty well, but I have that Kindled Heroism waiting in the wings. And since I get to cast this for free, that's all going to be pretty good. Assuming I don't click past my combat step. One block, let's do this. You know what? I'm actually fine with that. So they do have a few cards we need to be wary of, and having preemptive answers for them is going to be pretty good. And now we cast you with As Foretold. And we're going to cast you right now for 4 to set that up for next turn. I haven't done the math, but I'm pretty sure they can live through this next turn no matter what. They have that food token, so they're at a virtual 15 life. Assuming they block the biggest thing, which would be one of these 2 next turn. So they end up taking 5. If I cast the Imidane's Recruiter and one of these guys, actually I think that is still lethal, so we'll see. Because yeah, I can cast one of these guys for free off the As Foretold and then cast the Recruiter. Princess Take Flight exiles one of my creatures. It's pretty good. Hearth Elemental is fine. I think they need something more, though. Yep, they did indeed. So, match 1 wins. As Foretold is indeed as busted as I remember it being from Legacy, and we'll go on to match 2 soon. Alright, we're back for round 2, after winning round 1 off the back of just exactly how broken As Foretold is. This is fine to start. We have our bounce spell, we have an early creature, we have a couple of things we can do with this guy, so yeah, that's a keep. Plenty of lands. We'll start with an island and pass. All right, rats. Now I could just bounce this right now. I'm not entirely sure it's worth it quite yet, though. So we're going to start out with our ranger, which should stop any swinging in anyway. White-black, so not straight rats. Definitely a rat themey, though, probably with this thing. I guess just enchantments. So they probably have a combat trick. I'm inclined to just let this go through and bounce whatever they play next with the gatekeeper, so let's do that. And you are... okay, so definitely enchantments we got going on here. Let us indeed bounce, and we'll leave that up for whatever reason we need it. We aren't really going to need it right now since we're swinging in and are going to be tapped out anyway. Got something else, or do they just replay that? Let's see. Savior of the Sleeping. All right. I mean, the moment I swing in with my guy, it's just super telegraphing that I have the heroism. That's fine. All right, so we instead just swing in. If they block, we heroism. If they don't block, we make some rats. All right. We got a board state going. Yeah. Let's do it. Just in with the Vigilant. That is fine. Play the Witch. Or the Visitor, sorry. For some reason I thought it was a Witch. Wicked Visitor. And another cat. Alright. Well, one way or another, we got some interesting ways to block this. So we are just going to crash in. We're going to eat at least one creature with the Kindled Heroism, but whichever one it ends up being. Or they don't do that. Alright. If they just want to race, we can do that. We'll play our little 2-1 here. That doesn't seem like that good of a blocker, does it? I'm waiting for the enchantments. All of these cards do stuff with enchantments. Something's going to happen sometime. There's one. What do we get rid of here? I think I just ditched the land. I know I'm the one land away from casting the giant, but I got plenty else to do in the meantime. Stab wound on them. Fair enough. So a bunch of things are going to happen now. What was that? What did that do again? Each opponent loses 1 life. Alright. That is their only real safe attack. Wild. Alright. Let's see what we can do. That's not the worst thing to see here. You are 6. I only got 5. I can't just play out the giant. I can still eat a bunch of their creatures if I swing in with that. It's just something's going to get eaten by the savior. Yeah, let's at least swing in with you two. So we aren't going to be doing much else. And depending on how they block, that's fine. We just play the giant. We don't bother with the treasure. hits Whisper, discards 2 cards. Alright, in that case, let's... What's that? Whenever... Oh, they're putting the Wicked counter on him, I see. In that case, let's cast that on you. And I'm fine with you being on top, so that way we can cast the Giant and potentially slow the bleeding. And we stopped them from swinging, so not the worst that could have gone. They do still have 2 cards in hand, and we are shields down for whatever they got. But they don't have great swings here unless they got something else going on. Come on, what do you got? Interesting. So you're 6/7 vigilant now. Still not good enough to attack with, though. That's not bad to have. It's not, you know, fantastic, but it'll do. Okay, they're starting to hit their land drops. Ashiok's Reaper. I mean, there's probably worse things for them to cast here, but that will be good enough for me to counterspell. Uh-oh. All right. Really was hoping that wasn't going to be something that useful. How big are you now? 5'5". Ooh boy, that is the best Tale for the Ages I have seen in Limited. Usually it's pretty... either super win more card or a do nothing card. This is the most I've seen it actually affect things. There's the Knight. Is that enough for them to start swinging yet? Not really. Alright, and we are flooding right when we precisely need not to. Good news is they haven't been swinging in yet, and they are also drawing off the top of their deck, so if we can have them blink a couple of times, hopefully we can draw out of this. Well, that's not a blink. Ugh. Alright. So I wouldn't be surprised if that second mode copies one of their roll tokens. We'll see. Is it worth it? Sure. We'll sacrifice one of our superfluous islands here and draw a card. Okay. Hey, that's better than nothing. We can get rid of the Wicked Visitor. This is creature? Yeah. Alright, so we can either bounce the Visitor. We'll see what they plan on copying. We really want them to try and copy the roll token off the Wicked Visitor. Because if they do that, we can get a ton of value out of this bounce spell that is a sorcery, I just realized. Woof. Alright. Well, this isn't good. Okay. That's kind of surprising to me. Feels like you would have gotten more value in this deck out of copying one of the roll tokens. It's any token, right? Yeah, so they could have copied one of the roll tokens. Ooh, that's bad. Is that enough to kill me? Flying lifelink, none of these things have reach. Alright, let's Hail Mary real quick. Nope, that ain't gonna do it. Alright, game 2. Game 3, no changes to the deck. We will play first again. We need more than a 1-lander. A 3-lander. Sure, I can do that. No double mana costs yet, so the Evolving Wilds could go grab my Plains, just to get it out of the deck. Make sure I have it in case I draw the Recruiters. We will toss one of the Gatekeepers for now. So we want to keep the Prowler to have an early creature. Cat. Grab the Plains. Play our Prowler. Alright, let's see. If they just swing with the cat, I don't care. Alright, that's fine. Not too shabby. Not going to cast that yet, though. We're just going to cast Quick Study in a moment. There's that Savior. They're setting up. Unless they're really desperate to hold on to the cat, I think they're going to get that much value out of their rats. I like Quick Study just replacing itself right away. Alright. I think it's just worth it to play the Giant again on its own. Start building out the board. Probably could have played out the Galvanic Giant too. As opposed to the Grabby, but either one is fine. They're the same, right? 3/3 to a 4/3, yeah. Extra power is scarier, why not? A second Savior of the Sleeping, okay. It's fine for now. No swinging in yet. I like that. That's nice and silly. For now, we are just going to cast the Galvanic Giant. Represent having the combat trick. No swings yet. What do we got? There's the Reaper. All right. They're fully set up to start doing their whole enchantments thing. Kindled Heroism isn't bad. I think we start swinging in with our big guns now. And see what kind of damage we can do. Sure. First strike means we just get to eat one of them. And we will put that on top so we can start casting out the Gatekeepers. Ah, fair enough. +2/+2 makes it a 5/5. My guy's only a 4. Fair enough. So that's unfortunate, but not the end of the world yet. I think I can bounce the cat, but that's really it. For now, I'm just going to quick study on the end of their turn. 3 blind mice is fine for the moment. It's not, you know, fantastic, but it's not the end of the world either. Really? Just the vigilant ones, huh? That feels overly cautious. There's the recruiter, which isn't bad. And a Hearth Elemental. Alright, how much are you going to cost? 1, 2, 3. -3. So you're a 3 mana 4/5. Not bad. And this, I think this is still the most worth it. So this still grows the Prowler and gives me the beginnings of a nice little army. All right. Now we are cooking. So next turn, what I can do is, since this also counts cards in exile that have adventure. Oh, in your graveyard. So it doesn't quite work the way I want it to. Well, what I can do, not now, because obviously I'm discarding one, could have bounced 2 and then cast the adventure side of Hearth Elemental. Although putting that in the graveyard did make that now only cost me 2 mana, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. All right, we can still do a bunch here. Wonderful. So let's do my initial plan, which was we're just going to bounce a bunch of things. We'll get rid of the cat so that when 3 blind mice leaves the battlefield, they don't get the bonus there. We bounce a mouse because it's funny and gives them less of a bonus off the 3 blind mice. And then we draw 2 cards. Sorcery, right? Yeah, so we got to do it now. Play a land. We have another bounce effect next turn. And we have a decent amount of blockers. And the ability to just cast a bunch of stuff next turn. This deck is definitely a little clunkier if we don't have As Foretold going, but it's not terrible. That is interesting. Alright, well, this next turn is going to hurt. It's not the end of the world. They're 3/4s. I got a 4/3, a 4/3, and 2 2/2s. So they still don't have great attacks, no matter what. They just replay the Warehouse Tabby, which I can bounce again, because it's still funny to do that. They're thinking about swinging in. Yeah, I don't think you do yet if you're them. Alright, so we start with that Hearth Elemental for a single mana now, which is wonderful. I love me my 1 mana 4/5s. We can just cast a big guy, or we bounce the Warehouse Tabby to stop them from getting a rat. I got a 6/5, 4/3, 2 2/2s, a 4/5 to block with. That's not really a problem. Yeah, I think I want the body on board more than anything else. And we'll grow the crap out of that Prowler. Yeah, this ain't bad. All right. Can't quite swing in yet because they can block with their tokens and then demolish me on the crackback. So for now, we just lay low. Rowan's Grim Search. Bargained. Wow. That is a good amount of value. What is it you did again? Just draw a card? Okay. Now they get a look at the top 4. Put 2 of them back on top of their library in any order. The rest in their graveyard. Draw 2 cards. Lose 2 life. Definitely a lot going on that turn. Sure. This is why you draft a billion of your useful cards that you always have backups and extras. Like losing that, you know, not preferred, but it also ain't terrible. He has, or sorry, they, Confit, has to be really careful now. Because if they swing out and I can block and have enough of my board live, I can just Imidane's Recruit and kill them, presumably? Question mark? All right, time to figure some stuff out. So their biggest things are this and there. We can take 5 down to 7. And we just block you, and you, and you, and you. And I'm taking 5. So tradesies, tradesies. Eat that, eat that, eat that. Eat that. I keep all of my board except for the 2 tokens. They keep their 1, 5, 6. I think this is working out okay for me. Depends on what their combat trick is. Another enchantment. Like, obviously, that's not great. It's not the worst. They draw a card. They make a rat. None of these things grow. So all this math stays the same. This math stays the same. The only things that change are I get hit for 6. This is now a 6/7, which still dies to my 8/7 and doesn't kill the 8/7. The Kellen's Light Blades kills the 8/7. Okay. So they keep their 2 big uns. I lose my biggest un. And then they play Vampiric Rites. Sure. If that's all they got, though, I don't think I'm upset by that. These are just 5, 6s again now. What do I want to rebuy? Kind of just want to rebuy a quick study with this thing. Sure. Do that. We play you out. We could play the Recruiter just to have another body. I don't know how much I care. Yeah, better safe than sorry. Like, I have another Recruiter in the deck if I really want the boost later. And right now, I'm at 6 life. I just need to live. So extra blocking and combat fodder is good to have. Wicked Visitor. Alright. And Protective Parents. Get a young hero attached to one creature. Okay. That's when it dies, though, right? Yeah. And he doesn't have... They don't have terribly good attacks anyway, either. I draw the Quick Study. And we hold on to the Quick Study and just gum up the board as much as we can. Because they're drawn blank. Unless they start sacrificing creatures to the Vampiric Rites, which... Fine. Another Tabby. Sure. It doesn't affect the board overly much in this circumstance. And, okay, just sacrifice to Protective Parents. Put that on the Visitor, which can grow up to a 3/3. Fine, and then they sacrificed... What did they just sacrifice? Sacrifice a... What did they just do? Oh, they Rowan's Grim Search and sacrificed the young hero. Okay, that makes sense. These are some big boys now. That's why we wanted the recruiter out, just so we had a little more things to block with. Because they still don't have great attacks here. And I have things to do. Not the worst. I'm willing to just do this all again. And another body out on the field. All right. Wasn't the best hit, certainly wasn't the worst. What do they have? 3 cards in hand. It is not inconceivable I can deck them out if we stay this gummed up, but I need to start playing faster if we're going to go that route, because I am much lower on time than them. Alright. Do they swing yet? Okay. Let's do it. Always yield. They're big. Well, not overly inspiring, but I do have enough lands now I can definitely start letting the grabby giant just eat them for cards. And they're going to sacrifice... I didn't even see what they sacrificed there. But if they keep doing that, more and more likely we can deck them this game. We just got to play lightning fast game 3. Ariet's Whisper, sure. No more wicked rolls for you. Grow my dudes for blocks. Stab wound. Burns. Going down to 3. Woof. Is the Alpha Strike? Still no. Wow. That's funny. That's also funny. Then we bounce the... What do we bounce here? Bouncing something for sure. Let's bounce one of the visitors just to make them have to spend some stuff there. Cast you again for more blocks. All right. And pass. I doubt I'm winning this game, but I'm certainly going to make it annoying for them to win. Sure. We got one card left, but I have sufficiently flooded the board to not make this easy. Although I do have to be careful, because if I kill any of the things with the roll tokens on them, I lose life from the Wicked Visitors. Sure, but for now... Just getting things onto the board. Giving me options. Ariet's Whisper. Boo earns. Though hilariously, still blockable with that Aquatic Alchemist. What did they just sack the rat? Okay. Gonna be at 1 life. Nope, nope. What do they do? They have 3 Wicked Visitors? It doesn't matter. Anyway, that was about as good of an enchantment sacrifice deck as I've ever seen, so I'm not going to be too upset about losing to that. I think we put up a decent fight that second game, maybe not so much the first one. But 1-1, see if we can win out on match 3. All right, here we are for match 3. 1-1 so far. Let's see if we can make this a winning league. We got the 2 Aquatic Alchemists to start. We can lead up to the Ice Out, and we have the bounce spell. This is good enough. So as we saw last round, the deck can work without As Foretold. But as we saw in the first round, the deck crushes when we do have As Foretold. So the plan is try to win, just the normal way first. If they start to catch up, find As Foretold real quick and get it on the board, and slowly take over with the sheer amount of value you get out of it. Let's see what they're on. Other than seeming to be vaguely absent from their keyboard. There we go. Also going to try to play a little faster this time. If I had managed to come back in that second game of round 2, still would have been fairly hard-pressed to win game 3 in the amount of time we had left. Sacrifice it, greedy young hero. We can bounce this, or we wait for them to play something and bounce that once they have the young hero. I like that better. Let's just cast the Alchemist. And what's the follow-up? Red-black immediately makes me think rats. There's the warehouse tabby. Do they young hero it up right away? Not yet. So Aquatic Alchemist with the Kindled Heroism is actually pretty silly. We're just going to pass the turn for now and see what they do, since that makes it a 4/3 first striking creature. Yeah, no attacks. If they don't do anything on their turn, we just quick study. If they do some sort of combat-y thing, we have the Kindled Heroism to eat whatever it is. Voracious Vermin. Fair enough. Do they start swinging in wildly just to grow the vermin? Not yet. Not terrible, but we could use another blue source. Hey, there we go. Alright, so do we bounce the vermin? Do we bounce the rat? We can't bounce the vermin, I mean. For now, we just pass. We could play out the Galvanic Giant, but I'm willing to hold up Combat Trick and Counterspell here and just slowly eat away at their board and their cards. Eventually we can buy back the quick study if we need to. Pest problem. Alright, that is definitely worth countering on this board with the vermin out and everything else going on. So we turn our Alchemist into a 3/3, which already should deter a lot of swinging. If they swing with all of them, there is a decent chance they had a Kindled Heroism as well. They might have a Monstrous Roll, or a Monstrous Rage. I know this technically grows their boy, but that is fine as long as I have that Kindled Heroism. Song of Totentons is also good. I am fine just playing that same turn back again with the Ice out and the Kindled Heroism, especially as they're only down to 2 cards. We get to slowly chip away at their board here. Grand Ball Guest. That is fine for now. There we go. Knew it. I knew it. Knew they were trying to bait something out. They don't even get to bluff a combat trick now in so many ways. I am more than willing to just eat that. All right. Perfect. We can bounce their rat, just they have less to do. I think I just play... Let's just play out the Galvanic Giant. Oh, I just tapped wrong. I meant to tap so that the blue stayed up. Not the end of the world, though. This should still deter most attacks. Because even though this thing is now 4/3, I can block and eat it. And they did not draw anything overly useful. I can take 1 for a turn here. That is fine. So now we can hold up the Kindled Heroism and do things like bounce the rat. Yep, that's fine. And then buy back the quick study. Could buy back ice out, but that always seems... I don't know, I'd rather have more cards. Because you only counter one thing, but if I just add to the board and run them over eventually, that kind of does what I need to do anyway. But anyway, we're holding up the Kindled Heroism. They aren't drawing anything too relevant. And we now get to eat. They're biggin'. Set up to yield that. They are going to get a bunch of rats out of this. Hey, quick study. All right, on to game 2. They are on the play. We have an interesting keep that I don't think I'm going to keep. If one of these was an island, I would snap keep because we have a lot to do. But they have a pretty low to the ground deck that can run me over. This I am better with. I'm going to ditch one of the islands for now. So what we can do with this hand is build up to a small Song of Totentans and then buy it back with the bubble up side of Alchemist and recast it again for much more, while thinning our deck just a hair with Evolving Wilds. They're starting out on a 5-card hand, so they're already at a disadvantage. Oh boy. Alright, we'll do that. I'm just going to fetch up an island on their end step, in case we draw an ice out or something. And then we get our mountain going. And might as well play That's Mine here. So we get a slightly bigger Song of Totentans earlier. Cool. And let's see what they got. They're hitting their lands off the 5-card hands. That at least is good. This gets to be at least somewhat of a game. So Ice Out is a good draw if you have something to do with it. For now, I'm just going to get the Giant out there. So I can take a few swings from the Rat token. I just want to deter them from swinging in too much. Ooh, that ain't bad. Do they just make another rat? They sacrifice a creature, they grow the vermin. Scry 2, draw a card. Pretty good. Making up for part of that mulligan anyway. I don't think they're going to swing in quite yet, though. That would seem a little fast. Honestly, I don't know if I block if they do here. It's... Yeah. Yeah, definitely not. Alright. So, I think we just pass back, hold up the Ice Out. Yeah, we aren't in a bad spot for now, and if they aren't going to swing, I'm willing to eat a card of theirs. Once they do start swinging, we can eat the vermin and then play a couple of few things. On a mold of 5, this is where buying back the Ice Out can be really demoralizing. Ooh, boy, This is a full-on, all the bells and whistles rats deck, isn't it? But, fortunately, we don't really have to worry about that. Hold up the 1 red so we can bluff the combat trick. Still no swing. This is where we don't bounce anything because none of those are 2 or less, but we can set ourselves up pretty well. Play out the Prowler, we put the Ice Out back on top of our deck and give them essentially 1 turn to try and do something to affect this board, which they very well could have. But I got some things to do in case the Ice Out isn't going to hold its weight. What do they got? Oh boy. Okay, they're casting the actual big side of it. That's fine. Swing with everything or just him? Okay, we'll trade. Almost no reason not to. I suppose that's a little bit of a reason, but not one I'm overly worried about. Quite yet, anyway. Once I can play the Song of Totentaz now for enough to grow the Prowler when I need to, but I'm fine with 1 turn of holding back on that to hold up this Ice Out. Right now, if they really swing with everything, I can double block the Vermin and then blow up whatever combat trick they try. So I'm not too worried. You're annoying, right? Whenever deals combat damage to a player, put a skewer counter on it. That's fine. We can bounce it next turn if we really need to. There we go. Raid Bombardment probably isn't going to be the worst on this current board state, but them being a rat deck, they can fill the board with a lot of 1/1s really quick, and Raid Bombardment can become a problem. Alright, no extra thing out of there. So I can bounce that thing, but I think I would rather just make a ton of rats and grow my boy the Prowler. Always yield. Always yield. All right. That will do. Not going to start swinging in quite yet, maybe. I can swing with these 2, and they can eat anything. Sure. Sure, why not? Let's get hasty. If I draw a card, I could hold back the Prowler to draw a land, grow it even more. But they're already at 1 card in hand against a board that no matter what is going to persist. I would rather start putting them on their heels and just go for it. So they swing back for 7. I'm still winning that race. So next turn I can bounce something, grow the Alchemist again for a big swing. Or if I draw a land, just play the Gatekeeper and swing with my biggin. Definitely swinging with all of it. Okay. So no matter what, I'm swinging for 9 next turn because this either stays a 4 and this becomes a 3/3, or this becomes a 6 and this stays a 1/3. 7, 8, 9. Put him at 2. I'm at 13. I don't think they want to sack the Rotisserie Elemental yet. Yeah, but you sack it for 1. Or no, you just sacrifice it. You don't need to pay anything. And get 1 card off the top. Yeah, they go for it. Oh, grow the vermin too. Sure. And they show off a Ginger Brute. Not terrible, actually. Buying them life isn't the worst thing. But first, they're going to play the card out of their hand, I guess? There you go. So that can block something and gain 3 life, which is a pretty good payoff. That's pretty good. Is this once a turn? First instant or sorcery spell each turn. So the rat token can't block. We aren't too worried about that. I think we just play the big one. And then swing with everybody, right? Because they're all X1s? Yeah. One of their vermins grows. Unless they choose to block. Otherwise, they're taking 3. Because they take essentially 0. Because I'm assuming they block here with Ginger Brute. Eat the Ginger Brute for 3 life. Take 3. They stay at 11. That thing grows up a little bit. But they are drawing off the top. And I still got this thing going on. So I'm at 13. They're swinging back for... Wait, what? Why'd they take so much? Interesting. Embereth Veteran, create the Young Hero thing if they want, and grow their 2 guys, which is not bad. I didn't play an instant or sorcery their turn, and they started out at 11. Shouldn't they be at 11 still? Because I only hit them for 3. Right? Oh, they just blocked. They didn't eat it, too. That seems like a mistake. We let 1 through, because who cares? And that is something they can do at any time. It doesn't just have to be as a sorcery. So, we can do this to the rat just to stop them from doing that sort of thing cheaply again. So if I swing these 3, they have to block at least the 2 big ones, which is probably block here, block there. They both die. Grow. I don't think there's a point in attacking quite yet. these two end up becoming a 5-4 and a 8-7. With the way they can block that and still live. They did just draw a land, though. So they bricked. And their combat math isn't fantastic either. That's pretty funny. So we're going to cast Train Troops. Because it's way funnier. And it still grows this dude. And now we're getting pretty close to they need to draw something off the top here, or next turn the recruiter swing is pretty lethal. Or at the very least, it just eats up their board. Hey, a tabby. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not quite enough for both. I am going to give them one more draw step before I commit fully to this. And then next turn we just crash in. If I swing with the big ones right now, I still just block with like the two smallest things. These things grow. I can block on the crackback, but it's just safer in case they do draw something kind of bomby to save this guy and then swing with everything buffed up. Mary Bards, sure. That's a blocker that then gives something a roll token that is likely fairly irrelevant right now. Sure. They know they're going to need all the blockers they can get. There's not that many profitable blocks for them that leaves them in a position to really swing back at all. So yeah, I think we just kind of go for it. I can play you out too, just to have. What do I got? I got 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 5, 6, 7, 8. Might as well cast it all the ways that I can. We'll buy back the song. Pump him up. Cast you. Just like that. Cast the recruiter to pump everything up and give it +1/+1 in haste. Or +1/+0 in haste, and Yahtzee. still leave back 2 blockers. Depending on how they block, of course. Yep, that makes sense. These 2 have to get involved at this point. Alright, that makes sense as well. Next biggest thing. Is that the next biggest thing? Yeah. Okay, all the huge things are blocked. But that's still 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. That Voracious Vermin cannot block anything without dying. As it stands, this dies, this dies, this dies, and this dies. So all they're going to have left right now is this one. But they're still taking 8. Which seems like a problem. Oh, sure. I completely forgot it did that. But we win. We get our 3 packs. We get our 2 in 1, which isn't bad for me. Being kind of rusty with MTGO, misclicking a couple of times. And drafting a very speculative deck that, indeed, when it drew As Foretold, was bonkers, but we won at least 1 match completely without it. So that's pretty good. Thanks for joining me. I've been Chris, your friendly Card Kingdom producer. Kenji will return eventually. And thanks for helping me keep the algorithm happy with us. Have a good one, y'all. Take care of yourselves. Bye.